Alright, so we're just gonna straight up install the stereo, right? First things first, without doing any accessories. So here's where we take the panel tool and the 7mm. You're just gonna pop this panel out. Literally pops out. Now what you wanna do, this connector right here on your little airbag light. So you can either put this up on top of the dash, it's gonna fall, or take this and tape it up out of the way, just because you need to remember to reinstall this up above the radio before you put everything back together. So keep that in mind. But you want to remove 2 screws on your climate control first, because the climate control is going to come out. You just have to move it out of the way. You don't have to take it out. But this sits on top of your radio, so you'll take the 2 screws out here, just move it out of the way like that. All your new wiring is just going to sit under there, and then you got 4 screws on the radio to take out. You could also use a Phillips screwdriver because they have a 7mm. Also a 9/32 will work, but there's also a Phillips head in the center. So really you don't need any specialty tools. You could use a Phillips screwdriver and a flat blade screwdriver if that's all you have. And, you know, put them down your cup holder, don't lose them. Now, when you go to pull the radio out, you're gonna have 3 connections on the back. I will get you in here on the camera to show you. So you'll have one here, and your antenna over here. So you'll pull back on this little tab and that'll release your antenna. That pops that out, and then squeeze your little clip here and here. And now your radio is free. And you can say goodbye to your old alarm clock radio or your dot matrix radio, whatever. Your circa 2006 technology there. Alright, so really the only tools you're going to need, that panel tool that came with it, and a 7mm nut driver. You could also use a 9/32 or a Phillips screwdriver, because there's a little Phillips bit on the inside of those screws. So, and you could, you know, this came with a panel tool, but you could also use a flat blade screwdriver. So those are really all the tools you need to install this in your Impala. Alright, so now before we go putting the radio in, we have to mount this. And I'm going to make sure I got all these, the wire harness and the antenna accessible, because we're going to try to plug this stuff in through this opening. Note, I got that taped up there. This, make sure I got it going the right way here. It goes like this. Doesn't really, there's nothing really to hook it on. You kind of have to hold it. So I'll hold it and I'll get those screws in. Right off the bat I can tell this doesn't center itself very well, so I'm going to put these in loose. And then I'll mount the climate control, and then we're going to snap the bezel back in place to center it. And there's some wiggle room there, so make sure this is in the right spot. And that kind of wiggles around too. We might have to do some adjustment on this. A lot of play in here. It really isn't. See, the old radio kind of locate. I'm gonna try to bolt this where the screws went on the. You can see some little indents on the HVAC controls. That's kind of where I'm going to line it. I'm going to try it right there. Square it up. Reach all these wires through. Okay. Connect my airbag connector back on. Okay, oh, that fits. My bezel, this on this car is a little sloppy because I had a MyLink radio in here and I kind of tweaked it a little bit. But okay, that looks good. So, what I was thinking of doing is changing out one of these power ports for a dual USB socket, so we can have one, tie the 4-pin in for the ACP AA connector and the other one for, I would imagine you could put a flash drive on that one. But I'm not going to connect the mic or the GPS antenna right now. I'm just going to plug this up. I'm looking for the antenna connector. What do I do with it? Okay, here it is. So, if you can see the antenna connector, right there, plugs right in, and remember the two black connectors, they only go one way, so now we're gonna put all this back in here and here we go. Let's make sure we're good here. Fish everything back here. And there we go. Now, as far as mounting your backup camera, you're going to want to pull your right tail light. So you'll pull this clip here, pop this panel off, and you're going to have 3 wing nuts back here, and that'll take your tail light out, and you'll see a grommet under here that you can pass your wires through. And this is where you're going to want to connect up to your tail light. I'll show you that in a sec here. Alright, so at your tail light, you're going to want to tie into, you have a light green, oh, I'm not even in frame here, a light green wire and a black wire. Your light green is for your backup light, black is for ground. And now you'll see right here, your little grommet there, that's where you pass your wires through. I just made a little pigtail to go to the tail light, pass through, and then you'll see here's the other side of the grommet. That just comes through. Put your, make your camera connections right here. And then you can run your cable back through there. You pull your carpet away and fish it back under your back seat. And then you'll just come in here. You'll grab your wires coming out of here, tuck them under this panel. This, you can just tuck them right up under here. Bring it to the front. Tuck your wires under here, and then this right here, just lift up on it. It unsnaps, and you can pop that through. Run your camera wires up through here, and you can just zip tie it right here and run it right across. You can pull them tight. You can tuck them right up under the panel here. You don't even need to remove this under this panel. You can tuck them right under there and run it right into your dash. Very simple. And then your camera, I mean, you can mount it right here, or you can get a license plate mount for it. Just tie it into your backup lights with a posi tap. I'll link those posi taps. That's what I have going on here. They're nice, they're watertight, they're secure. They won't loosen, you won't get any water in there. So that's how you'll mount all that up. And then you'll have a fully functioning stereo. Okay, so here's the camera. Got it mounted to the license plate bracket. I'm already tied into the taillights. I brought it through this grommet, and now I haven't snugged this up, but I fished it through the back seat. And you're gonna want to pull your back seat. You go pull these two little tabs and your seat comes out. And then I just I grabbed a long, I have like it was actually a dryer vent cleaner thing. I jammed through there and I was able to pull the wire through here. So I'm gonna run it down, tuck it under here, but right now I got my little closeout panel just open, and I fished the wire up through here, and I put that posi tap connector on here, right here. That's where I'm gonna connect this blue wire. Strip that wire back, connect it, and then I gotta find the connector on here for the rear camera, which I think is this one. Yep. Yeah, this was the one that had the antennas on it. So we'll do that. I still have everything all plugged in, so we'll show the camera once I get it hooked up. Now with that done, I think I'm gonna have the access wire tucked up in the trunk, but you know, I'll just tuck it up under here, down here, up under here, like I said, under there, and that should be all you need to do. All right, so very quick on this Impala, if you want to install the GPS antenna, what you're going to need to do is take your 7mm and pull out the screw on this A-pillar cover, and you're going to need to do the one there, pull your A-pillars, and then this back piece up by the dash, you'll just pop it out with your clip tool and take that out, and you'll be connected to your light sensor. You'll want to take that out, but you can mount the GPS antenna right under there, run your wire down through here into the radio. Optional, like I said, if you're going to use Android Auto, you don't need it. But if you're going to use the built-in, if you're going to tether your hotspot and use the built-in browser or the built-in Google Maps or Waze, then you're going to want to put that in. And then the microphone, I like to put it right here. Just when you put all this back together, clip the microphone here.